everybody. Oh, okay, that's better. I wish I could get rid of my that little column in the corner, but I don't know how. Don't know how. So the biggest thing in the news is a subpoena for Jerome Powell, which is trying to force rate cuts. The threat to Fed independence has caused gold to hit record highs and silver to jump 6% this morning. So the metals are bullish because of the Trump putting pressure on the Fed. Protests in Iran, oil, Middle East tensions. Metaverse Nvidia, a new narrative emerged overnight regarding Meta being in talks to spend millions on Alphabet's, aka Google's AI chips to reduce reliance on Nvidia. This has boosted Google to fresh highs while putting downgrade pressure on Nvidia and AMD in early trading. We're likely to see higher sessions mood. Middle East news. So a lot of factors in the market regarding just a little bit. Testing. Hello. Testing. Okay, maybe that's better. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that's what we got going for today. Let's see if any of that matches. Man, that's funny that they'll do that. Oh, I still have this OBS crap up. Um, Dow futures fall 300%, 300 points. So the Dow is down that much. Capital One drops 10%. Other banks hit after Trump calls for credit card rate cap. Trump threatens to silence Exxon from Venezuela. Oh God. Nothing. Jersey Mike strikes European expansion deal led by founder Peter Cantrell. Gold at 4,600. Bones able to do higher than 7 years. That sucks already run a little bit too far. So it's funny that this is not covering a little bit more of what like Gemini was talking about. Nothing about Iran protests. Nothing about the metaverse Nvidia stuff. Interesting. Not that that matters for us. Let's check out to see if Google is gapping up. Oh, which is not. So what is this? Was this news like old? Wasn't gapping up on this day either. Maybe it was gapping up. See if it gave some back. No. Might have been this candle from Friday. I don't know. I don't know. Vistra is one to keep an eye on as well. Still underneath the 200 day. Had big news on Friday. This is an important level I have on Vistra. Just because there was that trend change here. So you had the lower low, no follow through into a nice burst up. Then you had the higher low. All very standard price action. And then you had the higher high here to, set the 30-minute higher low. And you could see that it was met with some increasing bear volume, which was an indication that there were some sellers waiting there. So trap the bulls, sellers waiting, push back down. You get pushed down. Aggressive bears got here, and then a little bit more of a patient bear got in at the end of the day on this push down. And as you see, we're kind of back here. But this is the daily range. For this point here, I think that Short term, bears are in control. Um, I mean, under the 200 on the daily is important too. So, but the news, how important is the news? But if you're going to trust the chart, you got to trust the chart. So, I think that this 165.88 is going to be the low of Friday, which is a big level. If that level gets cracked, then I think that we come down to this like 162 level. There's like a really big node right here. You can see the consolidation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sideways days. It even had this gap up with a backtest of that range as well before the crackdown. But once again, we have a lot of uh, shorts here potentially as well, right? So you had the bulls to fake out, then maybe you have aggressive shorts coming in here, bulls covering. This was a very quick move down. Um, so you have the bears jumping in here potentially. Then the next day, you feel really comfortable as a bear. Look at the top, probably get down a little bit further, and you get this huge gap up, trapping all of the bears that had their stops probably right around, I would say, up around here. So if price comes back down to this level here, you would think that a lot of those bears might cover. Be happy that they're out break even instead of getting run over, and then price potentially going back up and trying to make new highs. But that's just a theory. With that being said, like I said, if we do break to a new low, I'd be watching down here, and I'd want to just see, something in the sorts of, maybe a head and shoulders, or like a big a red candle followed by a big green candle. If it's more of a slower sideways range, you could maybe see something like this, where you see a lower low, no follow through, lower low, no follow through, low, no follow through, get the bear break, shoot straight up, come here, and do something like that. And again, it's never easy. That's for goddamn sure. But that's what I'd be looking at. If the bulls are going to show up immediately, then I probably want to see a 30-minute close above this level here. Get a close here, maybe put your stop underneath the close, underneath that level with a little bit of wiggle room. We're going to get back to the highs here. All that would be essentially a bear flag, like not even a bear flag. So you usually don't see things like this, where you usually get like just move down and then you get like just a quick move up when it's a bear flag here. But you can maybe chalk it up to Friday afternoon low volume. So it's a spot here where if you do shoot up here, you know, look for a long here, get back to the highs. Um, and if you're playing Vistra, a name that was like right, like hand in hand with it in the same deal was OKLO, and I think OKLO, and if it was for wash sales, I mean this would have been an aggressive short, but I had bulls being trapped up here, and the reason I had bulls being trapped up here was because of this. Here you had this lower high, this base, and then you had this bull break over this level here. So essentially you have, this is the highest low before the move down, and they stop all the bears out. Aggressive bulls hop in, and then it gets pulled back immediately. And you can see how it got, like, it closed up here, and then we gapped down here. Didn't even give him a chance to get out. So I had a feeling that there was a lot of bulls stuck up here. And when price comes from way down here all the way up to here that fast, these people are going to be really eager to get out of the trade. And that was pretty much the case there. I just didn't. If I made a trade before actually today, it would have been a wash sale, and I didn't want to do that. With that being said, you know the move took a while. Break down, lower high, trickled down. So, but as for now everything's kind of on the table, right? Like the bulls being trapped up here. I think this logic is now sort of um, I think this logic is now kind of done. I think that now it just becomes sort of a double top here. On the daily. Big, very, very big daily range. And there was a gap fill. Get rid of this. I mean, I was looking long on this stock again. Like these are the things that like drive me a little crazy with stocks because I'm looking long here, and I had this level all drawn out, and you watch these YouTube videos and people just scalp these things, and it just doesn't seem realistic. But entries, right? This is a very alarming hammer candle, right off the Valley area high, right here. So yeah, I mean you can't really get in here because the risk is too much, but you could potentially get in on a higher low, and then look to the highs. So that could have been a play for sure. But again, you have your lower EMA here. Do you just kind of like ignore that? That's tough. Definitely since it's been sort of a resistance level here, here, here. So, to just assume it's going to get over that is kind of naive. But I guess if you got over it here, then you could just have gotten on this day. So this would have been probably a really good trade. Which actually, I did. I missed this trade. I was actually watching this and I missed this trade. Yeah. Yuck. But you get back down here. You get a lower low here. Inside bar bull break. So is it no follow through? Hard to tell. You get another lower low here. And now you're underneath the POC. And now you're looking to get to the value area low. And you can see price doesn't get to the value area low. Cracks back over the POC. Again, we have to deal with this EMA 12 here. And the value area high. We just kind of launch over the value area high. And price just keeps on going. So it's like you got to get over this high, and then price just kind of opens here, and like this is tough with the 50 moving average right there too. So it's just unless you're getting in on this pullback to the previous day's open, which is once again it breaks the regular trading hours high, and you get a nice little 1-day scalp type deal. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a big move. I'm looking for a move off of this level here. And, you get this move down, potentially looking for like and these all would get me, like this looks like a pretty good head and shoulders. No dice. This higher low here Looks pretty appealing right off the EMA 12. Flush down, no dice. This becomes a big level here. This candle becomes a monster level here because of the volume behind it and how alarming it was. So like breaking this high is important, and you can see that we gapped over that level. So it's interesting. Um, this little level right here is interesting because it is potentially support or resistance turn support here if we have a break with no follow through on OKLO. But it is very annoying because I wanted to go long down here, but it's very hard because it's a 14% range, and I just don't see. I can even just turn extended hours off to keep it easy, but like I don't see an entry. I'm scaling in one here, scaling in one here, and then not getting in there. But like, that seems crazy. Because if I'm scaling in here and it goes up like this, I'm not happy about price being back down here. So I'm not scaling anymore. I'm taking that profit and then whatever, or stopping at break even. So at what point here do you get in? This is a 4-hour chart from the daily. We can even go to the 1 hour. We even go to the half hour, which we like. This looks like a little bit of a head and shoulders again here. Left shoulder. Here comes the right shoulder. Failure. And like, you're down here. You have this move up, sideways up. You have to watch out for the value area high. Opens up here, gets over, no back test. I guess just sometimes the trade doesn't set up. I don't know. Seems like an excuse. Anyway, there's really no big volume nodes here on the way down here. So there's a gap fill here. You have the daily range, and you do have this candle here. Again, I do think this candle is important. Oops. But I've been trying to put more notes. What day was it from the 12th? From 12, was it 12/12? It was 12/12. So we have support, potentially turn resistance here. So if there's a bear break here with no follow through, it makes sense. And then if that's not the case, you see there's a big node right here. There's an inside bar bull a gap up, but the gap, yeah. I don't really love it underneath that level. And obviously we're just looking for a daily higher low at this point. And again, this becomes like this really big head and shoulders. But the whole point was, my original point is that who's stronger? Is it OKLO or is it Vistra? And I believe it's Vistra. So OKLO already showing. Okay. Yeah, wow. So it broke down here. Then had a nice candle here. went for a little higher low here, and then sort of reclaimed this level here. So this is an important level now for sure. Got over the valley, Friday's lows, trading sideways here. I mean, this is tough because it talked about volume and duration over a certain level. I mean, this is a pretty good duration here of time, and obviously it's pre-market, so the volume is questionable, but just seems like enough of a sideways range to go up with the bullish, the news, everything like that. But what ended up happening was the bear break here. And again, these things make me just feel like I'm not understanding something, where it's like right here, you have this sideways range, and you want this level to hold, and you can see it's holding, 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 holding. Lost it. So when you lost it there, that's not a good sign. That is a failure to stay above that level. So now what happens? The bears try to settle in, settle in. You push price down here. You get a wick here, and price doesn't get back down to this level. And this is where I get a little bit confused, because for me, what's most important here? Is it this exact level, or is it an inflection point on a super small time frame, right? So it is a 5-minute time frame, but this is a daily level. So it's like this inflection point. Why is it an inflection point? Well, because it's where we had a trend change on this time frame. So it's like, but if I go to the 15-minute, there's really not much of an inflection point. I mean, I guess there is an inside bar bull break inflection point, but there's no trend change. And on the 30-minute, it just looks raw. So I just don't know. I need to be off the 5-minute though. I'm not a big fan of the 5-minute. It just gets me in a lot of trouble, clearly. So I guess here you go. 30-minute for entries. So you have this push down. You have this wick here. You have the higher low. And I guess you just got to say it's notable that we got above this level. We failed. But it's hard to say we failed here without going on the 5-minute time frame. Like, because this is clearly the sideways range that failed. On the 30-minute, it's just not that clear to me, dude. But you get this little rinky dinky higher low, which is an internal low, and this is a real level right here. So for me, this is a little double top level here. And this level would be an inflection point, because it would be a break of character. It would be a change of character. This would change a 30-minute trend, which is what I like to look for with entries when looking for daily higher lows and stuff like that. So this would be, even though it's never that clean. And this is a tiny little inflection point. And I would say that I could see this level being swept on the open. There's some liquidity here, and then hit right back into this range here, and then go up. So watch for so if price does come down here, sweep this low, and then we find ourselves getting back over here with like a nice solid candle, then I will go long here with my stop. Under, I mean, you got to put under the lows here. And I would be looking to take some profit right here. Oops, what I do. How do you do that again? You do a click. Whatever, I'll just... Yeah, it's control and drag. Oh, it's control and drag, that's why. I was pressing the wrong button. I wish these colors were more light. I don't know why they're so dark. Um, like, I'd like to make them clear so I can fucking... It's better than that yellow color. So maybe that's a little better. So that's what I think that I would want to look. I would want it to look like. And with that being said, and this is something I'm trying to improve on myself as well, is that if we do get this liquidity sweep and then it closes back over, I can use my larger sizing because we have the main thing, which is that liquidity sweep. I mean, if you don't use pre-market, you don't get that liquidity sweep. But it is at an interesting level, so it's always important. Um, so yeah, that liquidity sweep would add more to the fire. Um, and if you don't get that, so you got to move over this way and you got to pull back here, like this would be potentially smaller sizing, I guess. But in my head, I can't picture this trade. Because liquidity sweeps do add value. So this is one to focus on. And again, this stock is actually better positioned than Vistra from the standpoint of it's above the 50-day, it's above all three of these, as Vistra is below the 200-day. It came all the way back to its institutional range, which again, like I just don't know. I really wish that I could find more material on this stuff, but it's just not the case. Because I know that uh, the person who taught me this, they either scale in, which is not something that I'd want to do here, because it's over a very wide range. I know you can look for patterns inside of this range, which again we did, and we didn't really see much. And then there are all situations where they'd go for quick plays and look for longs. Like for example, this play right here. You have a double bottom off this level, then you have a gap. You basically have your opening right at the high, so that would have been a stop out unless you get in and out, which very fast. Which is like I don't do those chop and stop in and out executions. They're too fast. It's impossible for me to do on Fidelity. I mean, they don't even have hotkeys. Then you have this big push down, but then you have this open above the value area high, so you're liking it again here. And you have this inside bar opening. Not even this one. This one could be another loss. And then you open here an inside bar. You want an inside bar bull break. Maybe get a little bit here, trying to hold on for the rest. You get stopped out again. And then you're not bullish. Like you're looking for this day, it opens here. You're not really looking forward to that. Bearish, not looking bullish. Maybe make a play of the POC here on the morning here, push up to the value area high, failure. So maybe a little bit of a win there. But again, I'm not looking for those scalps. I'm looking for a goddamn move. And then boom, boom. And then you just have this move up. So unless you're just like, oh, now this is it. Like, why wasn't it this one? Nope. This one, gap up and go. You don't backtest the value area high or this candle. Then you have this one where you have the 50-day right above. So you do have this. It goes a little bit deeper than you want. And then you have to watch out for this. So when I want essentially this move, I always have to settle for maybe this move. And it's like, what the fuck? And then you just don't get anything because let's say we did scale in. Let's just say we scaled in for shits and giggles. We'd got one scale there and one scale there. So our average would have been right around there. I guess once you see this candle, you take off the rest. So your average is like right around here. Your stop has to go below here. And I mean, price got to there. So you get a 2-to-1 on, is it even more like over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, almost a month and a half. You get a 2-to-1. Like you have to go huge size to make that even worth your while, which I wouldn't have had there. Just doesn't make sense. I guess you can look at the volume here. The volume finally picks up right here on this day. But yeah, sure. Makes no sense. Anyways, double top here. Where a lot of shorts unloaded, a lot of longs that got bailed out here. Now just some consolidation. Where's price going to? Where are bulls going to step back in? Again, we talked about this level here. I think this one makes the most sense. If this gets passed, then we're into the gap fill. So I think this level is important. My thesis makes sense of looking for this little liquidity sweep here. Because I can see bear bulls like this, but you get a little liquidity sweep, back over, and then you go, and then you just set the daily higher low. That makes the most sense because if you think about what happens here, there's this range of just gap, right? This is all gap fill. And you can see it held here, right? So a lot of bears would be like, oh, if it gets down, if it breaks back down, this is an easy scalp to the downside here to 100. 100 psychological, yada, yada, yada. Actually, I'm just going to make these coordinates to 100. Right? Makes a lot of sense. But if you're going to stop out these early birds, suck in all the shorts, and then go up, that's perfect trickery to me. Makes a lot of sense. But you can't just get in assuming that you need to see the confirmation. So this is a must watch for me today. See if that plays out. And let's see if Vistra is very similar in that sense. We know we have this level with Vistra. Vistra has the big node, and its gap fill is much, much bigger at this point. The big node lines up perfectly with the EMA 12. But you can see we're just trading sideways here. So, you want to see one of these ranges break. And again, like playing the bull break, playing the bear break. Bears want to get to this node. Bulls want to get up here because that's the weekly range. Oh, that's the one thing I forgot to do on OKLO. Shit. It doesn't change much. It doesn't change much. Daily higher low scout. Looking for the monthly higher low. I mean, it happens so fast. These stocks, man. So we have Vistra, OKLO. We know that. Let's get this on paper. I mean, I'm tired of not having it on paper because I constantly forget my thoughts. Vistra / OKLO long plays. We mapped it out already. We're not going to do that. We're not going to put that on paper. We have the metals here. Gold is all-time high. Insane. One thing I saw that was interesting on all of these names is that they all have a daily trend line. They have a very similar daily trend line. This had the bull break here. I mean, this could have been a long before the weekend starts. And these are things that are tough because these things can eat me up sometimes, more so on smaller time frames. But if you look at this here, you have this bull break, and then you have this big push down, right? And you hate that, right? You don't love to see the volume not being on this chart hurts a little bit, but you see this big push down back under this level, and you're like, okay, well, it's not the end of the world. It's just a failure from bull standpoint. But I think the big level for bears would have been down here. And you get this rejection here. you get this little push down here where bears should have been all over this, right? The fact that they weren't all over this, couldn't even get down to the trend line, was alarming. Then you have another rejection here, but you get this big bull close over. So on this day, this could have been, a nice little long. As you can see, it turns into a little bit of a cup and handle here. But I mean, if you're a bull here, right, like you're not happy because you get stopped out because a lot of stops were underneath this candle, right? Because where else would you put your stop? You got a daily close here, you put your stop under the low of day, or you get over the level, you put your stop under the lower of day. And there's really no real decent higher low. Like this is a small little spot, I mean, I guess you could put it way down here, which I don't love. But then, yeah. So here's a little internal, a little equity here. I could see that being stolen. But this is a trend line. I can maybe see something like this where we come back down here to hit that trend line that marks out perfectly with this level here. You get another little pop. So I'd be along if we came back and had this inflection point. But as for now, it's kind of like waving goodbye. I mean, you look at the monthly chart, and it's like, do you really want to go long here? Like, you really want to go long here? Like, it's crazy to go long there. I know there's FOMO, but so we have silver, same thing. You can see the same trend line here. Getting up to new highs, up 6 points, almost 7% here pre-market. On the day, and I mean, this trend line is basically, this moving average at this point, holding moving average, holding moving average. And sometimes you see this where like you'll get like a wick through a level and then you'll get the confirmation right at that level. Or sometimes you get a wick through the level, another wick through the level, and then the confirmation of that level using a moving average. But again, look at the monthly chart. Do you really want to go long here? Like, I mean, you could day trade it. And then same thing with copper, right? Look at this trend, daily trend, right? You got to tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here. I mean, still holding, gapping up. So I'm looking to see who breaks this trend line first, and so on and so forth. So if like copper breaks it first, maybe I won't be a short. But if copper breaks down here and then back test here as silver is breaking out of its level or down from its level, then maybe that short on copper might come to fruition there. As I'm using maybe a weaker name in the middle sector, since it seems that they're all a bit correlated. So again, I mean, if you're looking bullish today, like you could definitely look for like a, and again, I'm not really much of a swing trader, or I don't want to be a day trader. I just don't want to be a day trader. But you could look for a 5-minute oversold, but it's hard on these stocks because but yeah. Besides that, watching Zscaler. Why am I watching Zscaler? It's cybersecurity. It makes some sense with just, the war news and all that fun stuff. We had this little bull flag here, but they'll follow through into a big pullback. So just looking for some sort of bounce here at some point. The weekly has just gone completely down. I mean, it's pretty gross at this point. Excuse me. And I mean, if you're scaling into this thing, you're just getting your head ripped off. But once it broke this level here, it's kind of been all just a slow grind down. But now we're at a point here. You can see my fissions. Well, the fish are lined. This is my radar, you know, and we're looking for where the fish are at. And this is where the fish are at. Right? Like, this is where the fish are at. Why is that, you say? Well, because, first of all, you can see, even starting from right here, you have this wick and then you have the hold here, or this back test before the breakdown of a big. So, like, right around this area, there's something going on. But it doesn't really get too clean until you get to around here on this back test, right? This is showing that there's orders here piling in. So you have a rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, rejection here. You pull back, bulls hold this level here. You come back up, you fail again. They hold the level here again. Push back, they fail. And then this time, here comes the trickery, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes. There's your level that's held 3 times. Okay. You get the third rejection here. You get the big weekly candle close under this level. Then you have the gap, and then you have the weekly close above this level. So if you're on smaller time frames, you probably get eaten for breakfast here. But this was the range. This was the big range here. This was the bear break. This was the bull break back into the range. And then sometimes you'll get like a little back test right here, but it didn't happen. You get a little tiny back test, and then you get up. It's so sick. Like, you don't even get you don't get a back test here. So you can, if you go long here, you get stopped out. You don't get a back test here, and then you get a bull break, and you don't get a back test here. So for me, like, there's no, like, I mean, yeah, like, this move happened for sure, but like, I don't know if anybody really got into this damn trade. I mean, are you telling me you're getting in on this? Like, you're putting your stop way down here? Like, there's just no way. A 22% stop, like. And then if you get this little pullback here, maybe you get in here, but then you have this. Like, it doesn't make any sense. To close here, the only people who could potentially get in is a break here with a stop, some sort of weird stop under here, and then you're just hoping to go bananas. I guess people got in here. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Bear break, no follow through. Hitting a level, and then going up for another leg up. Which then, you're looking pretty good, and then sweep. See ya. So it breaks under this level here. And then we just trickle all the way down through this thin wall. And now you're where the fishes are. Back where the fishies are. There's your back test. So looking for a bounce at a very obvious level. That makes a lot of sense, right? And you can see that this was a situation where we didn't quite get there. Get the break of a new high, lower low, no follow through, big move up, and you would think that this would be the move up, but it wasn't. And this is where the trickery comes into play. Like, you could find the radar, you can find the fish on the radar, but it doesn't mean that they're going to bite, or they bite and they snap you off. Like, that's really what this constantly is. Like, it's like you can find the fish, and the market makers just snap you right off, because honestly, you can get in here and think you're great, and then you get stopped out. And then you're like, well, What do I do now? And to me, it's a great question. And the answer I have for you is honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't even love this setup. But for me, the main level is right here. You have a double top here, and then you have this bear break. So it's like this high, like this high right here is the level. And you can see it tapped again right here in some sort of pre-market action. But that's the level. This was the back into the range, closing back into the range here, but it was a trap. And I could really see this thing having this like internal liquidity, bull break, sweep the liquidity, sweep the lows here, and then go up. But you look at the weekly and you're like, am I really getting into the stock? Like, holy smokes. But like, this is a range. This is just a big range. And if it breaks into this range, probably want to head down here. And there's a but it's aggravating. It's definitely aggravating. Um, that like if you're just waiting for like your standard technical analysis, like you're just constantly getting like just absolutely screwed over here, man. Like look at this trend line. Trend line bull break. Back over range here. And once again, there's no real significance happened here. Like this is like a trend change, but it's a bullshit trend change. Because it's a trend change back into this was the like this candle shows you that this broke bear out of this range. So yes, it negates this candle, but it doesn't negate the trend, which is down, sideways, down. So for me, it's still this level here. And if we and I mean if we break down again here, then I guess it becomes this level now too. But then it becomes this level and that level, which are very close together. So you can't really do one. Like you just have to kind of just say it's this level. But that would be the real change, because then this just becomes a level. I mean, it's still a big level, but at least it comes after the change. But yeah, here are the fishies. Even had to close over this level here. I mean, just annoying. Just annoying. I don't know how to get. I don't know how to get around it. I mean, maybe you just can't. But you can't. It just seems like you just cannot trust like your basic TA book. You just can't trust it sometimes, or a lot of the time. It just seems like you just get faked out a lot. I don't know what it is. It doesn't seem very reliable. But once the trend line breaks bull and then falls back under, it's no longer good. So we'll see. You sweep the liquidity here. You even get the liquidity there. This looks similar now, really. I mean, the hourly is a little bit of a different story, but not really. Sideways range here, bear break. Here's your hourly trend change. And then you can say, oh, well, it was off this level. I mean, this level isn't important to me, I don't think. Like, this is just the middle of the range. I guess it's a POC with an hourly back burner, yeah. So I have something here that I was looking at last night. Betty, will you go lay down? Which is enter long. So why do I have enter long here? So like we do on every chart that I keep on forgetting about, you get your weekly range here. So we have another range where we have a lot of volume here. We have the break of the weekly stair step again, as here and here. This one had a little bit of a gap. No follow through. We close underneath the prior week lows. So you really can't love it. You really can't love that look. This was supposed to be the weekly lower, higher low, in my opinion, and it just didn't get there. So I am not sure how much I loved what I was thinking last night with this little play here. Yeah, I'm gonna bail on that. I think I just. I mean, I would actually love. I think this trade is better, actually. I mean, this is aggressive here, definitely after this, but like, I mean, you can see a bear break at this level and then a move up, which is aggressive. Uh, but if I'm going to be trading with the trend, I'd have to see a weekly break, a break of this important level that I have here, and then maybe a back test. So I'm not. I'll keep an eye on this one today, but I'm not really too hell bent on it. And this one's more of a weekly 4-hour chart. And then we have Tesla. Tesla here. I mean, geez, I just want to go long on this damn stock. As my dog's going nuts. No, hold on. And the reason I like this Tesla chart is because, in my opinion, it still has this monthly cup and handle, even though it got your little fake out here. But a lot of the time, one candle consolidation with a bull break is usually never that great. But it did fake a lot of people out. But doesn't mean that it's a dead duck here. It just means that it's not ideal. It's a little bit of a red flag. Um, but we know that price did, the sideways range here. You had the bear break here, and you had the bear break here off of this range, and you want to assume that it comes back down to here, right? What do you have to go outside? So you'd want it to come back here. Look at all the volume here, and it just gets lifted off in a sea of nothing. So if you see like this low happening at like an area of no real volume, that just I don't know what to even say about that, to be honest with you. I guess we could ask AI. Let's do it. Let's see. When price bottoms in a zone with no clear historical support and very low volume nodes, you are likely looking at a rejection of unfair value. In market profile terms, high volume represents fair value, where buyers or sellers agree. A low volume represents unfair value, where one side is completely missing. Here is how to interpret a bottom forming at these thin areas. Psychological exhaustion, lack of selling interest. A low volume node means very few transactions in place. So okay, so yeah, obviously, um, an exhaustion. That's definitely not a V bottom. A lack of support is a support. In these cases, the support isn't a horizontal line from the past, it's a vacuum itself. The fact that no one traded there previously means there are no trapped sellers waiting to break even, which allows price to reverse without the usual overhead resistance. That makes no sense. Let's wait for it close back inside previous range. So yeah, so it's like when this happens, this close was actually a really good signal right here to get back to the highs here. And then you have this little pull down here. So you have this bull break, kind of a double top here, but then you have this back test off of this range again. So it ends up being like that, like this play. Boop, 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 boop. I see a lot of that. So Tesla's another one where, oh god, I just feel like getting long in it, but it's definitely weak. We gotta do the weekly range here. We're going, Betty. We're going. Oy vey. There's your weekly range. It's opening right in the middle of Friday's range, and Friday was a bullish day for Tesla. It was annoyingly bullish because it had this 50-day moving average right there. Um, and I just didn't like. So it stopped everybody out pre-market. Here you can see. I'll show you. So it stopped out everybody who was long pre-market and who was long underneath this level here from Thursday, which was a really big inflection point because it ended up representing the base of all of these longs trading sideways over the POC. So all of these people got long, held here, feeling really good, and then open, stops everybody out, and then launches back up. To add fuel to the fire, you had this bull break here with no follow through, pushing price down. And then you had the bull break here with follow through with the close, which you'd probably want to wait for after that. And you can see that at the close, yes, it goes up a little bit, which is fine, but you really have to be like a scalper because where do you put your stop on this candle? Probably you have to put it down here. So you're barely getting a 1-to-1 there, unless you're looking to get up here, which actually makes more sense. Um, and trust me, I was itching to make this trade, and I actually I was in it, and I stopped out like an idiot because I was just trading sideways for so long. But I knew that the broader market was strong too. So, and anyways, yeah, I mean, I guess you can just, I don't know, due to the stair step, you get 2-to-1 after all that, which is nothing crazy. But I saw this rising wedge, rising wedge, rising wedge, rising wedge, and I had a feeling it was going to break bull because of the market being so strong. Um, but I just didn't have the schnuts to do it. And then now we're back here. So yeah, I still think that this thing can go. Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for me. This is what I'm looking for today. Gotta let the dog out. Have a good one.